What if the part of your life that feels like it's completely falling apart right now is actually falling into place? I made this episode for the part of you that doesn't want to believe that yet. Hey there, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Light Centered Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Hacking, life and wellness coach, and this podcast is your space for deep conversations and real life integration, all to help you more fully share your unique God given light with the world. If you're someone who's on a healing journey and knows that they're meant for more, or just someone who wants to find more peace and connection in your life, then you are absolutely in the right place. All right, let's get into it. Hi, friend, and welcome to episode 2 of the Light Centered Life podcast. Today, I'm digging into one of the hardest experiences that I think we all face, which is when the security of the life that we've built feels like it's falling apart and we have a high level of uncertainty that we are facing. We're stuck in the fear and the anxiety of the unknown and questioning whether the life that we wanted is even still possible. And we're starting to ask ourselves, where do I even go from here? My goals for today are number one, fully explore what this experience feels like and why it is so disorienting. Number two, shift you into a new way of perceiving it so that no matter what the challenge is, you can trust that everything is working out for your highest good and that God has absolutely got your back. And number three, I'm going to ground you back in with some of my favorite tools to help you integrate and embody the version of you who knows you've got this and has the vision that you need to pull yourself out of the stuck, fearful place and into an empowered and steady state of being, no matter how chaotic the world feels around you. I've stood exactly where you are. Honestly, way too many times. And I promise you that you are not as stuck or as lost as it feels like right now. Every time I've been in this place, something greater was already on the way, and a plan was unfolding that was so much bigger and better than mine. So, with that, let's dive in fully to what this experience feels like when everything is falling apart. And if you're going through something really hard and things just aren't working out the way that you hoped, maybe it's a job loss, maybe it's a relationship ending, a health challenge, complete financial disruption, or maybe someone really let you down and disappointed you, and it's shifting everything in your life right now. Naturally, this is going to bring up a lot of feelings because we are hardwired to want safety and security. So, what this brings up is the fear of the unknown. A lot of times we're going to feel a deep loss of hope. And I know for me, uncertainty like this also brings a lot of anxiety, a lot of questioning and overthinking if everything's going to work out. This typically sends us into a state of desperately trying to solve the problem. And we feel the pressure to figure everything out, to have all the answers. And we stay in this overthinking spiral and looping of going through all of the options, all the things that could go wrong. And a lot of times there is something deeper going on, and it's not just the letdown or the heartache or the uncertainty. A lot of times it's that the life that we once imagined is no longer there. If you're mourning the life that you thought you would have or the person that you thought that you would be in that life, that is the experience that actually is the deeper rooted thing that oftentimes is keeping us from moving forward, is that we actually need to mourn that life. And if that is how you feel right now, it's a valid experience to feel the loss, to feel the grief, to want things to be the way that they used to be, or even to be the way that you imagined them. And that is completely valid, period. And the thing that I am absolutely not going to do is to tell you not to feel the experience of that loss fully. Have a good cry, feel angry, get mad, be scared, get fully frustrated. discouraged, all of it. Let it all out. And do you know what is so interesting? We are so afraid of feeling our emotions, especially the ones that we think are bad, like anger, sadness, frustration. And studies actually show that on average, if we were able to just feel something fully, usually the really intense part of that feeling is like 90 seconds long. And then we actually start to move through it. But think about all the times that you have avoided feeling something, like fully feeling something because you don't want the pain or whatever we're afraid of that that's going to bring out, right? But the feeling itself is actually not bad at all. And I'm going to always encourage you to feel those things fully. Now, I know we've explored the feelings and the emotions that come up, but let's talk about why this actually hits so hard. And the reason for that is because oftentimes we have built our sense of safety and our entire identity on these things, the relationship, the job, the plan. And so when that ground beneath us gets shaken up, it doesn't just feel like loss, it actually in our body feels like danger. And your nervous system reads uncertainty as a threat, and it starts to set off the alarm bells that something's wrong, red alert, red flags, we have to do something. And this is why it feels so difficult in times like this to fully relax, to get restful sleep, and to feel calm for any extended length of time. And on top of your nervous system going into fight or flight and being highly activated, your mind is also overthinking and not letting you have a second to rest. And something that I think is really helpful to understand if you're going through this is that your brain is hardwired to keep you safe. It's meant to assess threats and to make sure that you will survive. And we want it to do that. If you were getting chased by a bear, for example, and there was truly a threat, it is a great thing for your nervous system and your brain to sound the alarms in order to keep you safe. So, while I don't want you to stay here in fight or flight, and I want you to have some relief and hope and be able to move forward, there is nothing wrong with what you are feeling. Your brain and your nervous system are both doing their job. And what we don't need is for you to feel guilty for having the very normal human experience of having fear on top of having to deal with the fear itself. This is part of being human. So, accepting this and feeling everything you need to feel fully will help you actually feel more calm. And it's counterintuitive, but it is true. We want to build emotional safety within ourselves always. And I really want to hit this home. Resistance to our feelings and to the experience that we are having is what actually deepens our suffering and makes everything harder. When we bury the feelings and we try to talk ourselves out of them, they only get bigger. As we move into the shift and into trying to see things differently and elevate, we first have to allow this to be acceptable and part of the process if we want the shift to actually land. Otherwise, chasing away our thoughts and our feelings will actually feel like herding cats and it will not be fun. So feel it. Experience it, allow it. All right, you get the point. Feel your feelings and understand what's going on in your body. And then we can give you tools to help with all of those things. There's nothing to be afraid of. Okay, let's keep it moving. Okay, so now we're going to start to shift into that higher perspective, that higher mind, basically your higher sense of being and your inner wisdom. And I know some of these things that I'm going to say, you probably know yourself, but we just want to lean harder into that. We want to actually trust those feelings we have and that inner wisdom that pulls us out of the chaos and the fear and shifts us into a different perspective. Here's the first thing. The reframe is number one, the falling apart is the plan. Everything falling apart is the plan. Basically, accepting that this is exactly what is supposed to be happening. And I know that this is hard. Believe me, I have experienced the big losses. I have experienced child loss. I have experienced getting out of a terrible marriage and getting divorced. I've experienced losing loved ones close to me and having them pass away. And I know it's really hard sometimes to accept that what is happening is the plan. But I'm telling you, this perspective will save you from a lot of heartache and a lot of pain in trying to control what's happening and in living in regret of the past, thinking that you should have done something differently, thinking that if you would have changed this, then it would have changed the outcome of that. That will keep you spiraling and miserable. And I've done that too. But when we shift into this higher way of thinking about the way our life is unfolding, I believe this can give us a lot of peace. Now, I use this on a daily basis, even in the things that are hard for me today. And it really does help ground me and bring me peace. Sometimes the ground has to shake and the foundation has to fall away in order for something greater to emerge. Sometimes the life that you are meant to live, or the next level, or the deeper understanding of spirituality, of God, of our humanity, is on the other side of this falling apart. And it will be greater than you even imagined. And I believe deeply that God is with you even when it doesn't feel like it. All of this will be used for your good and for your higher purpose on this earth. I truly believe that we came here to face ourselves, to face our triggers so that we could elevate, so that our souls could progress and that we could step into who God created us to be, and we can't do that without the challenges that stretch us and that help us grow. Sometimes the hardest seasons are the ones that are shaping us the most and are the ones that we need in order to transcend our current state and to step into that higher version of ourselves. And something that I want to give you as one example of this as my lived experience is when my husband lost his job and I was 6 months pregnant. And we lost our insurance, we lost our main source of income, and it was hard. But what ended up happening was that my husband, instead of going and finding another job, doubled down on his side gig, which was actually his dream business, and stepped fully into his talents and his gifts. And today, that business is not only a main source of income for us, it also has elevated both of us in ways that I can't even explain. And it gave him the freedom of being a dad that gets to work from home, be present with his kids, and live out his dream and what he feels deeply called to do in this life. And that doesn't mean that it was easy. That, like, none of this takes away the fact that it is challenging. But if we could have looked at our life right now and seen how far he would come in his business because he lost that job, or even what it would push me to do that we didn't even know yet, I mean, we would have that happen over and over and over again. And it's like hindsight is 2020, right? That's why if we can shift into this mindset now, if we can live in a state of being okay and living in trust and knowing that there's a plan greater than ours happening at all times, it can really help us get through those hard times. So, what I want you to hang on to in all of this is that everything is happening for you and you have more good coming your way than you can even imagine. And do not believe the lies in your head that you can't do this, that this is too hard, that it's your fault, that if you just would have changed something, it would have been different, or that you are doing something or did something wrong. None of that is true. Everything is falling apart so that what's meant to be and what's meant for you can come forward, and God has got your back. Okay, so let's shift into the grounding, which is the actual practices. This is where we take everything that we just talked about, and I give you practices that you can do at home tonight or during this week that will help you start to embody everything that I just talked about. First, I'm going to give you journal prompts that will help you dig into your feelings and allow you to let it all out. Do not be afraid of your emotions. Start to listen and to accept them and let them guide you to a deeper relationship with yourself. Secondly, I'm going to give you a nervous system tool that you can use to help regulate and calm down. There are many different ways to regulate your nervous system. I'm just going to drop in one for you today that I love, which is EFT tapping. Try it out and see how you feel. And then, third, one of the things that help us move forward when things feel really hard is that we need to start to have a clear vision of what our life can be beyond what we are currently living. If we stay stuck in the problem of right now, it always feels heavy and it's like we're constantly trying to figure it out and we feel like we're stuck in the mud. But if we can shift into a higher vision for our lives, then we can live in that future state as if it's already real. And we can start to imprint on your mind and your soul what that life looks like, what it feels like, and that you are fully capable of living it right now. So, I'm going to be dropping a guided visualization for this, along with the journal prompts and the regulation tool. All of it is completely free. You can find it in the show notes below. And the next piece of this is finding full alignment with God so that you can start to co create this next step and this next chapter. And even though we still have the unknown, we can start to feel a lot more calm that God's got us and that we're moving forward together. And next week's episode is going to go deeper into exactly that. And to wrap it all up, sometimes life kicks us in the teeth. And we all get stuck there once in a while. And it's okay to sit in that and to feel it fully. And at some point, we want to move forward and learn from it so that we can be the version of ourselves that we came here to be and that we don't stay stuck. So go ahead, grab all the tools in the show notes. I know you've got this and everything is working out for you. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on this journey with you. I feel honored that we get to do this thing called life together. Thank you so much for tuning into the Light Centered Podcast. If this episode lit something up inside you, it would mean the world to me if you subscribed or shared it with a friend who might need the message today. If you're looking for more support on the journey of stepping into the most authentic version of you, you can find the links to all of this in the show notes below. And finally, never underestimate the impact that you can have on the world when you live from a space that is centered in the light that you were always meant to share. I'll see you next week.